Great. Well, good morning, everyone. Great to see such a fantastic turnout. I'm Kim Shelley. I'm the Director of Public Lands for Salt Lake City. Thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate the Reimagined Seven Canyons Refuge here in the city's largest and one of our most beloved public spaces in Liberty Park. As many of you know, this space has long held deep meaning for Salt Lake City. For decades, the Seven Canyons Fountain was a place where families gathered, children played, and visitors could connect with the story of our valley's water. It reflected the canyons and reminded us how central water is to our landscape, our culture, and our daily lives. As time passed, maintaining the fountain became increasingly challenging, and it became clear that this space needed to evolve in a way that both honored the past and reflected Salt Lake City's values. The result is the Seven Canyons Refuge, a reimagined space that continues the story of the original fountain, but through a new lens of sustainability, creativity, and stewardship. We're proud that this project reflects what we strive for across all of our parks and public lands, a welcoming, equitable, and a sustainable place. To introduce this space and provide more details and insight about how this space has been reimagined, you'll hear from Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall, Felicia Baca, Executive Director of the Salt Lake City Arts Council, representatives of the Northwestern Band of the Shoshone Nation, Brad Perry, who's the Vice Chairman, and Rios Pacheco, the Tribal Spiritual Representative. And after the remarks, we'll take a few questions. Then we'll invite everyone to tour the Seven Canyons Refuge with staff from the Salt Lake City Arts Council. And I would encourage you all to take advantage of that. We have water bottles so folks can actually interact with the art piece itself. So with that, please join me in welcoming Mayor Erin Mendenhall to the podium.
Thank you, Kim Shelley. Thank you to Felicia, who you'll hear from next, Felicia Baca, our Arts Council Director. Thank you big time to my friends Brad Perry and Rios Pacheco, who you'll hear from. We're really fortunate to have the Northwest Band of the Shoshone leaders and representatives here with us today. Even though it's cloudy, it's not raining, we are at a place that is about water, and it couldn't be a more fitting month for us to be opening Seven Canyons in this new way during what is probably the wettest month in the history of the state of Utah. This is a place that all Salt Lakers know. If you've lived here for any amount of time, you've probably had your feet down here in the water, or you've had your kids splashing around in the past. Maybe you as a child in the last 30 years did that yourself. It was gifted to Salt Lake City from O.C. Tanner Corporation with the intent to represent the life-giving role of water in the Salt Lake Valley. It displayed these beautiful miniature versions of City Creek, Red Butte, Immigration, Parleys, East Mill Creek, Big Cottonwood, and Little Cottonwood Canyons. And back in 2017, the fountain no longer met the county's health and safety codes. The city had to make a difficult decision at that point. We could restore it exactly as it was, and it would have taken $2 to $4 million and consumed tens of thousands of gallons of water every single day. But we knew that this place meant too much to all of us to just lose it. And so instead of walking away, we chose to reimagine what it could be. In 2020, the city launched a feasibility study to explore everything from a full restoration option that would comply with health and safety standards, to converting the fountain into a dry art piece, to just replacing it altogether. And we worked with you as the community members. We worked with the original artists and our new partners at ArcSitio. I hope I said that right. Thank you. ArcSitio and our Salt Lake City Arts Council, of course. And together we asked each other, what could this place become? Stephen Goldsmith. Stephen, we wish you were here with us today, but we're singing your praises. Stephen was one of the original designers of Seven Canyons Fountain, and he returned to this new iteration of imagining the project with a vision that embraced the reality we were facing. This was our need to conserve water, to make sure that our commitment to sustainability was intact, our respect for the art itself, and compliance with health and safety standards that we're held to. But we also wanted to honor the fountain's history. So what emerged is what you see around you today, the Seven Canyons Refuge. It may not be an outright fountain anymore, but it still flows with light and sound and touch. It's a place that asks us to think about water, not as something that we use, but as something that we are connected to and that we cannot live without. In a desert city like ours, indeed everywhere in the world, water is life. It's shaped our canyons, it's shaped our future, and it's shaped our culture. I want to thank all of our partners, Stephen Goldsmith and the original artist team, ArcSitio, the Salt Lake City Arts Council, our Public Lands Department, and our Engineering Division, and every person who helped make this vision possible, including our residents. This is the next chapter of Seven Canyons Refuge. It's a gathering place, it'll be a teaching space, and it's a beautiful piece of art that I hope you all enjoy and inspires generations of Salt Lakers. So I invite you, after our brief remarks today, to walk through it and touch it and pour some water down it, follow the water, and think about the way that water shapes our lives right now, today, and that our future is dependent on the existence of it. I want to turn the time over now to Felicia Baca, and as I mentioned and Kim mentioned, she'll be followed by Brad Perry and Rios Pacheco, and then we'll take questions.
Hi, I'm Felicia Baca, Director of the Salt Lake City Arts Council, and it's not often that you get to reimagine a work of public art, and let alone work with the original artist. So it's been a real honor to work with Stephen Goldsmith on this project, and a long time coming on this project. I live in this neighborhood, and this is an incredibly beloved work of art in the community in all of its phases. Children, adults are playing here. People are engaging. And when we did community outreach, there was just a really broad community consensus that this work should not be decommissioned and it could be repaired, which is a really great segue into talking about some of the new features that you'll see here today. If you look around closely, you'll see a technique called kintsugi, which is a Japanese technique symbolizing healing, repair, and resilience. It's a metaphor about places and things that hold value and that can be repaired and that shouldn't be discarded. These features ask us to think about what kind of repairs do we want to make with other places, with the environment and people, and even ourselves. And the other features are also a nod to Salt Lake City's first sister city, Matsumoto, Japan. Another feature you're going to see here are the people perches. Liberty Park is home to over 180 species of birds and the Tracy Aviary. And there are a number of cast bronze sculptures here that invite visitors, especially children, to explore bird songs through sound and touch. So these perches represent 18 different bird species, and the perches on the top mimic the sonograms of bird songs through touch, and through QR codes, they're accessible online libraries of bird songs. So these sculptures have all the features that are accessible to people through touch, sound, and sight. Another feature is the Shishi Adoshi, which you can interact with afterwards. This is a Japanese water feature at each canyon headwater and the Jordan Narrows that really engages visitors in hands-on water stewardship. They invite visitors to ask the question of where will the water come from and will it make it to Great Salt Lake? There's also a new representation of Salt Lake City's historic streetcar lines right here, which was powered by the Big Cottonwood Creek, tying transportation history to the regional hydrology of the area. There's also a number of new etched granite tiles throughout, if you look closely, featuring indigenous imagery and natural elements, one created by Rios Pacheco, who's with us, of the Northwestern Band of the Shoshone. A redesigned Great Salt Lake feature, reimagined as a spiral, which is a symbol of growth, journeys, and the cycle of life. And this feature is really focused on play and education for children. So together, the 5 themes that were sort of reimagined for this the refuge are relationships with our sister species, especially birds, water systems of the Bonneville Basin, the region's first peoples and early human imprints, stewardship and healing of meaningful places, and expanded access to multisensory experiences. And throughout this process, Stephen Goldsmith was such a fabulous collaborator and engaged many people in ornithology, accessibility, sound design, including Alma Schrag, Milad Mozari, Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and also Tracy Aviary. And just as a reminder, the QR codes are embedded throughout the sculpture and linked to visitors' curated audio and visual content. So this project really exemplifies what can kind of emerge when we combine public art, environmental education, and equity-driven design. And as a bonus feature this week, the Salt Lake City Arts Council has been working on a project for the last year called Wake the Great Salt Lake. It's about education and action around the decline of the Great Salt Lake in partnership with Bloomberg Philanthropies. And today, we have one of our temporary public art projects with Stefan Lesueur, who is here. It's a temporary audio installation called Watershed Stories, which through October 18th blends the sounds of Seven Creeks and voices of Salt Lake City residents sharing their stories of how waterways hold importance in their lives. So that's sort of a special bonus this week that we're so happy to have. And if you want to learn more about that project, it's at wakegsl.org. I just want to thank a few more people in addition to the people the mayor thanked. Renato Olmedo Gonzalez, our Salt Lake City Arts Council public art manager, really stewarded this project on our team. And then Tim Brown from the Tracy Aviary, who is here, Cal Wadsworth Construction, the Metal Arts Foundry, and the many construction workers, consultants, and community members. And now I'm so pleased to have with us from the Northwestern Band of Shoshone, Brad Perry, Vice Chairman, and Rios Pacheco, Tribal Spiritual Representative. Thank you.
Thank you all for excuse me. Thank you all for being here today. It's Zawachu. Good morning. 7 years ago, we purchased back the Bear River Massacre site. That doesn't mean too much to this area, but it means something overall to the valley and to the basin. We purchased it and looked at it and said, what do we need to do? And we needed to revive the water that we have at that site so it can affect the Great Salt Lake. From that point on, we've really worked with a lot of people, gotten to know the mayor really well. Felicia, I've gotten to work with her and her team, and wanting all the basins to kind of descend on the Great Salt Lake. I was a student here at the University of Utah. I remember when there was water here. I like Felicia. I live in the area as well. So this is a place that I come to often. And what a lot of people don't know is that this is the tribal home of the Northwestern Band of Shoshone Nation. The first land acknowledgement I can think of was my great-great-great-grandfather, Chief Segwich. When he came and they met in 1847, when history started here in Utah, he came and met with Brigham Young, and they brought them moccasins, and they brought them food, and they showed them the sego lily and all the different things that they would need to survive here. And Segwich said one thing: "This is our land. You're welcome to stay. But when the Utes come a few days from now and ask you to pay for it, don't do it. It's not theirs." And this is a hub for all the tribal nations in Utah. We all kind of share this, but we claim it as home, as I'm sure others as well. We're grateful for this project. We worked a lot with Stephen. Stephen asked a little bit ago if we had a tribal baby that could donate its footprints. My niece, who's here, had just recently had a baby that didn't live. His footprints are right there to welcome all of the people. Little Banksy, we called him Woomie Up, or too quick, or can't catch him because he moved through life too fast. That's what this place means to the Shoshone Nation, is that we have designs here, and we have footprints here, and we have ancestors here, and we have those that just passed here. And so we are grateful to be here. We're grateful to be a part of this. Please do what you can to raise awareness for the Great Salt Lake. The Olympics are only in 8.5 years, and so we have a lot to do, but please enjoy this place. Come to Tracy Avery on every third Wednesday, and you can walk around with Rios, and he'll tell you all about plants, and then you can see Tim. But again, thank you so much for being here, and we hope that this continues to be a place to come for a lot of years. So, Rios?
Right. So when I finish, everything comes this way. It's a circle, but it all comes back to here's a circle. So you can walk around there and sprinkle this as a blessing for not just the people, the land, but also the land. That's so important to keep all these things alive. So after I get that blessing, we'll bring it up. Ugachiya, Damapa. Sik Damabechu, Zan Damahani window, Ugachi. Son Damanuana, Sik Damahani window, Ugachi. Sik Damabahu, Mahu, Damahani window, Ugachi. Damanui Soko, Zan Damanusungo window, Ugachi. Sik Damaway, that's what we know. Sik Damahani window, Ugachi. Dama Bagan, Sik Dama Doyabik, Sik Dama Wizan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Song Dama Nuana, Sik Dama Honey window, Ugachi. Dus Dama Hanchna, Sik Dama Divano, Dama Dutivano, Dama Zainaman, Dus Dama Nuana, Dama Toyadivado, Song Dama Nuana, Sik Dama Wiza Suma Magunoga, Ugachi, Sikandavi. Zan Dama Honey window, Ugachi. Dama Ba, Dama Naka, Gutan Dama Zan Nusinga, Mahivi window, Ugachi. Sikway Dama Upper Zan Dama Sogop, Sik Dama Wizan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Dama Sihibi, Dama Mabuikan, Sik Dama Wongovi, Dama Wahapi. Dus Dama Nuwe the Cup, Sik Dama Honey window, Ugachi. Dus Dama Buhai, Dama Zan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Dama Sogop, Dama Ba, Sik Dama Zan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Ono Dama Upper, Dama Nanga, Ugachi, Sikundavi. Zan Dama Nusinga window, Ugachi. So Dama We Hanchna, Sik Dama Winning, Zama Sundi Hai, Ugachi, Sik Zama Nusinga window, Ugachi, Sik Zama Duruana, Zan Nusinga window. Dasma Biana, Upana, Zan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Ono Dama Upper, Dama Nanga, Ugachi, Sik Zan Dama We Sik Dama Bagan, Ugachi, Dama We Zan Dama Doyabit, Sik Dama Dakabit, Zan Dama Honey window, Ugachi. Zan Dama Ba, Dama Sik Dama Via Ba, Sudandomas Dama Noana, Ma Naniagan, Disi Ba, Zan Dama We Zan Nusinga window, Ugachi, Son Dama We Zan Nusinga window, Ugachi. Wana dama apa dama nanga uguchi, dama za sundahai dama bihai ngondo uguchi, dama magwana gutkan hani ngondo uguchi. Wana dama apa dama nanga uguchi sikundavi. Wana dama degop dama nanga surun dama sundua surun Jesus Christ dama degop. Zan dama hani ngondo uguchi, dama za sundahai ngondo uguchi sikundavi. Ostum dama apa, osuna, os. Okay, you can follow me. And then you can just offer the rest with the water. I'm just going to say a few things about how important water is. We need to let our children know water doesn't come from the tap. Water isn't something that is just given to us. In our culture, you know, we have different types of songs, prayers, and dance, but most of it's for the essential things in life. And the most essential thing is water. We give thanks to the Creator for this water. The water has a cycle. We use it and we give it back by it goes through all the different channels, feeds all the plants, feeds all the animals, feeds all the insects, feeds us and gives life to all those things in nature. But it has to go back again. And as it goes back, that water represents the tears of our Creator because of the love He has for us. When we give thanks to Him, He sheds that love back to us with the gift of life. So know how important water is, know where it comes from, and know who we need to give thanks to. Today, you'll understand water comes from these 7 creeks. Water comes, but it's nature that helps purify that water. And if we respect nature, we will always have water. But once we start not respecting it, life will be so difficult for us. But remember, our Creator was always there to watch over us, even through difficult times. respect what He has given us, give thanks for all living things, and know that our Creator blessed us this day with this water, and pretty soon He'll bring light, and that will make things grow. Everything that He's created is in a circle. How we view this is in a circle. Everything comes to the water and goes back to where it sits in the lake and can be used again. We have water that our people migrated on, what we call today the Weber River. It's Hoho Ogoi. And the Bear River we call Wuda Ogoi. Those are the places that our people respected and prayed and used all those things, but it all comes back to the Great Salt Lake. So today I want to thank you for all coming out and showing the respect that we have for the water, for the mountains, for the air, for the trees, but most of all for one another. Look at everybody. We are all part of this world. We are all caretakers of this world. Osana, Zandama, Nisinga, Sekundabi.